Welcome to episode 63 of LIFTALK. Obviously, I am not Alex Hayes. I am Kelvin Tran. So this would be another episode of Kelv Talk with John Tran. Alex is taking a break this week. He'll be back in the next episode. But this episode, John and I talk about underrated strengths. So what might be perceived as weakness could actually be your strength. So I hope you guys enjoy this one. Make sure you leave a like, leave a comment, subscribe, and let us know what you think.
It's getting real personal now. Where's the tissues?
I actually said to my friends, I was like, I don't think that I want to be friends with you because you guys like don't have the same mindset that I do.
I am terrible at asking for help. Okay. I'm better than I have a person job.
The foot was baking the cake.
Well, no, it wasn't all simultaneously.
Hello, John Tran.
Hello.
How are you?
Sick. Fully sick.
You're
slightly
fully
sick, but I'm strep-tooled up and dosed up.
What's been happening? Why are you sick?
Why am I sick?
Yeah. Kids? Or Elva? One kid?
Actually, no, I don't even know.
No. Greta?
Elva is actually not sick.
Oh.
Greta,
Okay.
I made her more sick.
You made her sick.
So I am the origin of this
You're
pandemic.
patient zero.
I'm patient zero, 100%.
Well, today there's only myself and John. Alex got fired, right?
Yeah, we booted him.
Yeah, Alex got fired from the LIFTALK podcast. So now it's called the Kelv and John Talk podcast. Welcome to episode 1 of the John and Kelv Talk podcast. Just kidding. Alex will be back next week, I'm sure. And today we're going to talk about a topic that I've been thinking about recently, something that I want to call underrated strengths. And basically the idea behind underrated strengths is I think in powerlifting, I think from your perspective, your aspect of business, there's a lot of focus on pushing, a lot of focus on getting after it, like the hustle culture and stuff like that. But I think that there's an extent to that. There's a limit to it. And there's also like on the flip side, things that people do that might be classified as like weakness or quitting that could actually be a strength.
Or perceived as, you mean?
Or perceived as like being a quitter or being a loser. But could actually be a strength.
It's a bit harsh.
But when it comes to hustle culture, because it's gotten like quite popular over the past, I'd say, decade.
Well, let's give our audience like a bit of an insight, like what you define as hustle culture.
I was going to ask you what you think.
What I think hustle culture is.
And what do you think about it?
So I got like, obviously I coach as well, or coached. I don't coach as much as I used to. There's like 2 slight variations, but now I think about it, they actually blend into one. And it's basically the concept of you're only going to make it if you push, if you push hard.
Yep.
You know, it's the stereotypical, you see this a lot online with like, quote unquote, business coaches, PT performance coaches, get up, you know, stick
4 a.m.
Yeah, 4 a.m. Start journaling.
Monster.
Have a Monster, insert whatever caffeinated drink you want. Start journaling. Do your
Ice bath.
I do ice bath now. Okay, ice bath. I saw one video where the guy was like making his breakfast, but like complete everything from scratch. Yeah. So like it was pancakes and protein pancakes and I'm like, yeah, cool if you can do that. And then he starts answering emails at like 6 a.m. and then it's ... time. And it's basically the idea of you gotta make it, you gotta go.
Yep.
And you know, usually followed by short lunch breaks and short breaks, quick meetings on the clock.
Yeah.
You fit in my schedule. You don't fit in my schedule. Thanks. Goodbye. See you later. You want to meet with me? Put it in my schedule.
Yep.
And it's this idea of you're busy. You're busy because you got to hustle. You got to work hard to make it. And a lot of that makes logical sense.
Do you think it's true?
There's nuance to everything.
Yeah.
You know, at some point in your life, yes, you do have to knuckle down and work hard because things need doing.
Yeah.
Right. But there's also a time and a place to go, and I think we've had this discussion, to like just chill out and not only chill out and stop working, but also a time to reflect, because that time itself gives you an opportunity.
Yes. And the conversation that we did have, I think I started to talk to you about like my next business venture or like my next business idea.
Yeah.
And you're like, dude, just chill.
Yeah. I mean, it's good because you're motivated. You're ambitious and you're motivated. And I'm sure a lot of people listening to this podcast out there are the same. But quite often what we don't realize, especially in the moment, is what you're doing can be enough. You just have to let time take care of itself for it to eventuate. Like you don't have to constantly switch up to the next bigger thing.
When you started City Strength, which was how many years ago? 8 years ago, 9?
No,
like that.
12.
12 years. 12 years ago.
Yeah.
During that journey from then till now, do you feel like you've always been like go, go, go? Like you've bought into the hustle culture, that hustle mindset of like trying to, like you need to get X, Y, Z done in order to achieve this? Or has it been a learning process where like you may have started doing that and then you realized, shit, like I need to step back. I need to actually like give myself time to breathe. What's it been like for you?
A little bit different. Like certainly more of the latter
Okay.
than, going all out all at once, constantly. And for context, in my previous life, before I was a personal trainer, before I was a powerlifting coach, I was a baker. I did that for 9 years. And that was no option. That was go, go, go the whole time.
Yeah.
Not because I wanted to, but because the work is structured that way.
Like you'd have to wake up early and start baking and stuff and then sell all day.
Midnight start and finish probably like 3, 4 p.m., 5 p.m. next day. And then, that for like 9 years. Most of the time, 6 days a week, sometimes 7 days a week. And anyone who's done like shift work will know if you have 6 days a week, realistically, that one day you get home, you sleep, you wake up, like it's almost like a half day. It's an incomplete day. So like I was properly burnt out. I knew what I did not want.
Yep.
And for me, that was hustle.
Why did you do that for so long?
I didn't know any different.
Yeah. Okay.
Growing up, Asian kid, my parents were like,
parents.
like work hard. I understood the value of working hard, seeing my parents. And I was basically doing what I thought we're brought up to do. The stereotype of work hard, earn money, buy a house, get married, have kids. That stable, safe, secure lifestyle. And at that time, the most obvious avenue for me to fulfill that was to work and run my parents' bakery, which we did. I did successfully. Like we grew the business threefold, and I worked in it and ran it.
Yeah.
And but it was very isolating, obviously, with those hours.
I know you've told me some stories where like this is during your 20s, right?
Yeah, I missed my 20s.
Yeah, you were
out.
saying you missed out on your 20s. You basically didn't live out your 20s. It was very much just like working. Is that something you regret?
Yes.
Big question.
He's getting real personal now. Where's the tissues? Regret. It's taken me a long time to process that whole experience. There was a lot of resentment, especially towards my parents.
I can imagine.
Especially when like towards the latter years before I quit. And then obviously afterwards as well. So that took time to heal my relationship with my parents, especially my dad.
Yeah.
In hindsight, do I regret it? Yes. But have I processed it and worked out, what I gained from it? Also, yes.
Yeah.
So like when things get tough here, like running things and I feel like under pressure, I borrowed this quote from a friend of mine. He used to be a horticulturist, look after like golf courses. And his phrase would always be like, could be worse, could be back digging holes. Right?
Yeah.
And I actually use that and go, look, we have this gym, we have this online store, and we have we're surrounded by like really talented people here. That could be worse. I could be just making bread. Ironically, I actually really like baking, but it was the hours and the workload and everything else. So what I've taken from it is work ethic.
Yep.
And also a lot of the lessons learned from running that business, because it was obviously a very different business to what we have here.
Yep.
But a lot of the same lessons can be learned because you're still dealing with the consumer. You're still dealing with educating consumers. So there's an educational part of teaching people what things are and what things aren't, and supply and demand and all those sort of things. So a lot of those skills, I've taken a lot out of those and looked at the positives.
Yeah. That experience at the bakery taught you, in hindsight, when it's important to take a breather, take a step back? Because you did mention that running city strength is more, as you said, like the ladder. It's more not as like go, go, go.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you think that being in the bakery taught you the value of actually pulling back? And how do you think you do that now with the business? And I think we'll go into how we do that in training next, but let's start with business first.
Pulling back is hard.
Yeah.
Right? Because it takes a few things for you to actually do it. First, you have to identify that what you're doing is or isn't working. And then you have to make the assessment of whether or not it's worthwhile to pull back, or is it just going to like, do I just need to like push a little bit harder and it's going to come, and it sounds like a gambler, like the next hit's going to, it's going to do it, right?
You cash in.
It is. It's actually, I think it's, in hindsight, it's very easy to say, yeah, I pulled back then, that was right, or like I should have, could have. In the bakery, I definitely did not. And it took me many, many hard lessons to understand that, the signs were there, and I just ignored it because...
Was it like physically and mentally, you mean? Like you needed to pull back, or...
Yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah. Both in business, physically, mentally, like many, many lessons learned. And, you know, I'm stubborn as hell. Like, so that doesn't help.
Yeah.
How's that helped me in the current business? I think it's given me a little bit more skill set. I'm a little bit more cautious or on the conservative, safer side of things. But it's still hard because you have to constantly make an assessment of, is this working? By what metric am I measuring that this is a success or not? Yeah. And then you kind of have to do a rough guesstimate of like, are we just on the cusp of succeeding with this? Do we keep going, or do we have to like pull the pin? Yeah. You know, sometimes it's obvious, but that doesn't require much assessment. You're like,
it'll get to a point where you know.
Yeah, at some point you know, and you just have to go, I'm not getting what I need out of it. Just pull the pin.
Yeah, I think for me, when it comes to pulling back, whether it be mainly with business or like with the work that I'm doing, I feel like if I pull back, the mindset that I tend to bias is that if I pull back now, or if I like rest now, then I'm going to miss out. And I think that's a bit of a toxic mindset, I would say.
You think so?
But I don't know, it can go both ways. This is why I really wanted to talk about this, because it's still something that I'm trying to figure out myself.
See, for me, if you put it in the context of training, for me, that's easier.
Yeah, I think it is easier when it comes to training,
When it comes to like actual training, it's easier, mainly because we're both coaches and we coach like numerous people. So we see it in other clients and we can, to some degree, apply it to our own training. Whether we actually follow through or not, it's another story. But we can identify that. I also identify training as I'm much more at ease of the fact that it's a long game. Yep. Right? The repercussions of my training being slow, and let's face it, like with my numbers, it's been hella slow. Hella slow. No one's got slow progress than me. No, I didn't help it. I'm not crying like training sucks or anything, but it's just hasn't been a priority. But I also understand it's a long game. So as long as I maintain some degree of consistency, if I take this day off or I can't train today, it's not that big of an issue anymore. Yeah.
I think though, the reason why it's not that much of an issue for you is because it's not as big of a priority. But I think that what you see on social media these days are a lot of like your elite powerlifters who commit their whole lives to powerlifting, and they're training, you know, every day constantly. And all you see are just like PRs every single fucking week or every single month from them.
It's definitely skews like a newbie coming in and they see that that's all they see.
And I feel like it cultivates a culture in powerlifting of like, you need to like PR every week, every block to get stronger. When that's not the truth. That's not the truth.
That's not the truth.
Yeah.
You need to put meat in the sandwich, is what I say. Like another brick on the wall. Okay. It's terrible analogies I use. Sound like an old man. But it's true. Like a lot of the time, you just have to get the volume in. And I suppose if you make that assessment to say, hey, don't really, like today's session is going to be really unproductive and not worthwhile for whatever reason, then there might be a case for you to go, hey, I'm just going to like go lighter, go less. Yep. Or message my coach and go, hey, this is how I'm feeling. Yeah, communicate with your coach. If your coach goes, hey, but you've got comp in 3 weeks and this comp is actually really important, they might say, okay, well, hit your top set and then pack it up, or some sort of workout.
Yeah, I think when it comes to training, not everything goes to plan, right? Not everything goes the way that you would want it to be. And there are going to be times when you have to deviate from the plan, deviate from your training plan. But the most important thing, I think, is if you do have a coach, first of all, communicating that. But if you're trying to figure it out by yourself, really be aware of like how you're responding to certain stimulus or responding to the things that you're doing. And I think when it comes to pulling back, one example that I can give in training is working with clients, like trialing something new with their programming or their tech, introducing something new. And usually what I do is I try to see it out through the end of the block if I change something, whether it be like increased volume on a particular day or a slight tech change. Give it some time for your body to potentially adapt and learn and grow. But then, if it doesn't make a significant change over that block, make the assessment on whether or not it's still worth continuing. So I think from a training example, that's something that our listeners, if you're powerlifting now and you're trying to figure something out, give it to the end of the block, give it a few weeks to figure it out. And if it doesn't actually, the outcome isn't what you were expecting, then maybe that is a opportunity to pull back, to try something else.
Yeah.
But definitely give it some time and definitely like push it. So that you can figure it out.
It's also worth saying, like, letting it run out to the end of the block is not a waste of time. Like that training that you do to run it out of the block to see if it works still accumulates volume, stimulus, and to some degree fatigue. So it's still useful volume and training volume. It's not necessarily just, I've wasted 3 weeks trying this out and it doesn't
you're still
work.
doing something.
100%. And it still provides stimulus to some degree.
And not just stimulus, but also data on whether or not something does work. Because end of the day, like when you're trying to figure something out, the more mistakes you make, the closer you get to getting it right.
That's right.
Yeah.
If you never go, you never know.
You never go, you never know.
That's it.
Wise words, John Tran.
I'm full of them.
One more thing that I've got here when it comes to pulling back or knowing when to call it quits is knowing when an idea isn't worth pursuing at all, or like if the costs outweigh the benefits. When it comes to training, for example, when do we know whether or not it's worth pursuing a different kind of tech or different programming or like a certain type of strategy, or do you just trial it and see what happens?
Can you give me some context?
I think for me, when it comes to like, for example, trialing a new type of strategy or trialing some sort of new programming, something that I try to communicate to my clients is that it's a long game, right? We might not get it right straight away. We might not get it right in the short term, but ultimately, like, you're not here just for one comp. You're not here just to do one prep and then give up. Because, like I said before, if we're able to trial something, we're going to get data from it either way.
But why are you trialing it?
So something might be like, for example, in training, they tend to respond really well to high volume, or they might respond really well to like a particular day before their training. Or something that I've seen quite recently with a few clients is they might like just adjust their training days because they've had to for whatever reason. And then that particular day shows up really, really well all of a sudden. I think when you do have a uptick in performance, or like you are able to see some sort of benefit from it, it might be worthwhile pursuing.
Yes. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, when it comes to weighing out the costs and benefits, I think something that you want to keep in mind is knowing that it's, even if it doesn't quote unquote work, you're still going to learn from it.
Yeah, I think you have to make some sort of forecast or assessment to go, hey, these are the outcomes we're trying to achieve, and currently we're not getting there, or we're getting there slower than anticipated, and you make that adjustment.
Yeah.
So like talking about like changing up your training, for example, Kana, I'll use him as an example. He's got time constraints when he trains. Like when he's peaking, he takes 90 minutes and then he's done.
He's very fast.
The reason he does this is so fast is, this is like reveal. He does all his accessories first.
He does do his accessories first, which is crazy.
Accessories first, which is fantastic because I really push accessories, and I'm very adamant to all my clients that accessories need to be pushed because quite often they're on a machine or a single joint exercise or they're not as not systemically fatiguing. So Kana likes the pump. Let's face it, he loves it. So he's also got the time constraint as well. So he will punch out all his accessories and then go. For him, he actually says it helps him feel more warmed up.
Yeah, it's crazy.
So he's all primed, quote unquote, like he's ready to go to do his top set.
Primed.
And initially I was like, we don't know how that's going to go when you come to like doing your heavy sets. But because he tried it out early, we made that assessment like, yeah, it's safe enough for you to do it 5-6 weeks out. That's fine. Let's do it. And it worked in his favor. So that's an example where make that assessment. You kind of have to let it go, trial it, and it actually work in our favor.
Yeah. Yeah, I feel like on social media, it seems like we have to be working 24/7, or we have to be PRing all the time in order to get stronger. Or we need to be like putting in X amount of work in order to get stronger.
To get successful.
And to become successful. In a business sense, to become successful. Yeah, what do you think of that? Resting without guilt. Do you rest without guilt?
Oh, I'm the worst at resting without.
Do you rest?
I rest with guilt all the time.
Rest with
I
guilt.
rest with guilt all the time. Do as I say, not as I do. Yeah, I still struggle.
Yeah.
I still struggle. Like last week I took a day off.
Yeah, how'd you feel about that?
I was here half the day.
What would you said you took a day off. I thought you were taking a day off.
I was just here for half the day, not working.
Okay.
Partly because I had an appointment in the city
Okay.
to get a massage because, I like sports massage or whatever.
Nice.
Inadvertently like, oh, well, I'll just park the car here and then in the city. But then I just hung around like a bad smell afterwards. So I struggle really. Even if I stay at home, I would go, oh, there's stuff that needs to be done around the house. Need a model or something like that. It's not good. I think it's, especially in this day and age, it is very hard to disconnect and switch off. Even harder if you are self-employed.
Yeah.
No matter what work you do, right? I think you need some degree, and this is more noticeable when you go away on a holiday. I feel you go away on holiday, and because everything is online now, a lot of us work online or can work online. You don't really realize, it doesn't click that you should just back off and actually have a holiday.
Yep.
It takes a few days, especially for me, to go, oh, I'm actually on holidays for. It doesn't matter if I don't reply to this email for 2 days. I'm on holiday.
Do you ever get the feeling where like you go on holiday but you don't actually realize that you're going? That's how I feel.
Every time.
When I fly out, everyone's like, oh, you excited? Are you keen to go? And I'm like, I don't even like think about I'm not even thinking about it.
I'm checking
right now.
emails as the plane taxis on the tarmac in case I might miss something that I can't reply because I'm in the air.
But how important is it to reply to an email? Is it...
Realistically, not at all.
So why do you make it so important? Like, why is it so to you?
Guilt. Guilt, and also fearing that I might miss something important.
Got FOMO.
Yeah, to some degree. But the reality, like the logic in me goes, I'm going to fly for 8 hours or whatever, 9 hours or whatever. It doesn't matter realistically because it was urgent. This person would call me.
Yep.
Right? But the inner me goes, no, I just need to sort this out. So I can tick it off. I know it's done and I can relax. But I don't relax because then I'm checking the next email and it's just this vicious cycle.
Yep.
Back to your thing about like hustle culture and grind. Those usually are advocated by people without kids.
Yeah.
Or like family commitments.
Single men.
Look, I'm all for like working hard.
Yep.
But what the hell are you writing in the journal at 4 a.m.?
Sleep was great.
So
I dreamt about
like rest while you can, enjoy, like by all means work hard, be productive. I suppose the key point is be productive. Being busy doesn't necessarily mean
Yep.
you are, you're killing it, you're doing well. Because I can be busy
Yep.
and get fuck all done,
Yep.
right? But that's not a marker of success. I feel like my marker of success is I come in here, I punch out 4 hours of work or 3 hours of work, and I'm done for the day. And the rest of the time, be with checking in with everyone else, seeing how you guys are doing, and like that's successful.
Yep.
Right? It may differ depending on the type of work you do, if you enjoy it or not. That'd be another one. Like being productive is, I feel like it's a marker for success as opposed to being just constantly slammed and busy.
Yep.
Right?
Yeah. I think for me, something that I've realized, and that's why I asked you the question of like, why is it so important for you to have to check that email and reply to that email? Something that I've learned and I've come to terms with is if I had to respond to an email or if I don't call back within the next like hour, no one's gonna die. You know, like no one's gonna die because I'm not replying to this email or I'm not responding to this client. Like I need to be able to set my own boundaries so that I can show up my best for my clients, or I can show up my best for my family, for example, if I'm spending time with family. Because if I don't set those boundaries and I'm always like go, then I'm no longer giving myself time to actually reflect, to be myself, to focus on putting myself first, filling up my own cup before being able to fill up everyone else's cups around me. And I think that, by setting those boundaries and being quite strict with myself, like I don't respond. I allocate like certain hours of the day to respond to check-ins.
Yep.
Outside of that, I tell my clients if there's anything urgent, message me on Instagram. And I've seen the notification come through and it's just like, hey, what do you think about this? I'll have a look and I'll respond. But if it's like...
Leave them on red.
Don't leave them on red. But for example, if they're like, oh, can you just like adjust this real quick on my program or like do a very quick check-in, I'll respond. But if someone's like, Kelvin, like what weight do I do? Or like...
Or they just haven't read the rules.
Yeah, it's like just read your program. Being able to set those boundaries and knowing like if I don't reply to this email or if I don't, return this call, the world's not going to burn.
Yeah. So have you followed, what they define as hustle culture?
I did. That's why
the five tenets of hustle culture.
That's why my whole fucking brand's called Hustle, Strength, and Performance.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Revelations.
But it's having like an identity crisis lately because I used to be very much like hustle, grind, like got to put the work in, which I think has its value.
Yeah, we agree. Like
you need to get shit done.
You need to work hard.
You need to work hard in order to achieve what you want to do. Like I definitely wouldn't be living the lifestyle that I live now. It's not great, but it's like I'm not working 9 to 5 corporate. I definitely wouldn't be where I am now if I didn't put in that work.
Yep.
I wouldn't be able to travel and do things like that if I wasn't pushing. But I think as I get older and I think one thing that changes is developing deeper personal relationships, whether it be in a relationship with like a partner or with parents, with family. Seeing more of that and finding more value in that, I think has changed a lot of my perspective on like pushing and grinding. Because when it comes to becoming successful, I feel like that's a very lonely journey.
It is.
It's a very, very solo journey, and it's very much like all on yourself to do it because no one's going to do the work for you, right? But what's the point of working so hard and burning yourself out and ending all these friendships because you can't spend time with them when there's, you can become the richest person in the world or have all these things, but at the end of the journey, there's no one there with you.
Yeah.
Right?
Do you think your value set has changed?
I think so.
Because a lot of those like advocates of hustle culture will say those that don't fit into your lifestyle of being busy, then they're thrown in the wayside. You got to surround yourself with like other successful people, bro.
Yeah.
Yeah. The other
it's like the billionaires club or millionaires founders club and stuff like that, right?
Yeah. There's a lot of those sort of social groups, and I suppose they're great. They're great for networking and things like that, and people who sort of can empathize with you because they're having a similar journey. But it's one thing to say, I want to be surrounding myself with other people's who are on the same journey as I am. And another thing to say, I'm just going to bin my entire social group because these people they don't understand what I'm going through, bro.
Yeah,
they're not journaling at 4 a.m.
Personal anecdote, and some of my friends still bring it up these days. When I was like 18 or something, I actually said to my friends, I was like, oh, I don't think that I want to be friends with you because you guys like don't have the same mindset that I do. Yeah.
You said that.
I said that.
What was the response?
All of them were just like, fucking okay, whatever you say. And I would say that the relationship that I have with them now is probably still impacted by that because they still feel remnants of that or still like can remember me saying that to them.
Why did you say that? Do you remember?
Because I was bought into the whole like, you know, you got the top 5 people around you's what is it? Fucking the 5 people around you's or the environment makes you, some shit like that. You know that saying where it's
I get it.
You're the product of the
environment
5 closest people in your environment, some shit like that.
Yeah.
I was bought into that. And they were just people who were like, you know, went to uni or didn't go to uni, maybe just like done some retail jobs and stuff like that. They're great guys. But yeah, at that time I was like, oh, these guys, like, they're not on the same mindset. We don't have the same goals, values, visions. And so they have no value to me.
Oh, let's add to that. The other thing that bothers me about this sort of go-get-it hustle culture is the assessment that the value of your relationships and friendships is determined by the occupation those people have.
Or also to add to that, how much value they give to you from a monetary or like a business standpoint.
Yeah. And that's usually related to their occupation or how much they earn.
Yep.
Right? And that's a real toxic arsehole.
It's very narrow-minded. Very narrow-minded.
It's also arrogant.
Yeah.
You know, just to say like, just because someone else is not earning the same amount of money as you are or not as much, therefore you don't value their relationship. Like what? Kind of people, like, we're not Andrew Tates.
I think there's a balance to it though. Obviously you want to be around people that you have similar values with.
Values, yes, but I'm not measuring the value of that relationship based on their income or their occupation.
But I think for some people, like, the only value that they can see from themselves is how much money they make. They base their self-worth of how much money they're making or how busy they are. And so as a result, they judge other people based on that as well.
That just makes you an asshole.
It makes you someone who's quite narrow-minded. And to be honest, that used to be me.
Superficial.
Yeah, that used to be me. And over the past few years, I feel like being able to expose myself to different things, different people, different environments, I've started to see my self-worth not defined by how busy I am or how much money I make, but all the other values and traits that I'm able to just to be me.
Yeah, sometimes you just enjoy other people's company because they're funny or whatever.
Yeah.
Right?
I think that's still something that I'm still working out. There are still times when, like, I might have a client drop off or something, or for whatever reason, like, I'm not earning as much as what I used to. And I think that it's a definition, or it's it defines, like, how good I am at what I do.
Yep.
Or
do you think this is just you maturing?
I think I'm just maturing.
So this episode is about Kelvin growing up, maturing in this.
It's me processing and realizing that life's not all about money. Yeah.
Cool. End of episode. Thanks. Like and subscribe.
Something I have here as well, just bringing it back to the topic about resting without guilt, is a post by C-Bum, Chris Bumstead. And I love Chris Bumstead. I do. Do you?
If I'm honest, I don't follow him very much. I'll see from time to time, like an Olympia post, and then recently, because we talked about it.
Yeah, I really like him because when I was bodybuilding, that was when he was sort of like at the peak or about to like hit his peak in bodybuilding. And that
was the time where I stopped watching bodybuilding.
That was just like 2020, I think, or 2019, 2020. I think the year that I competed in bodybuilding, he had just won his first Olympia or something like that. Or he was doing his second Olympia. And because I was competing in classic and he was like top tier classic kind of bodybuilder, I looked up to him, and I think he's gone through his own journey as well.
He's retired now, right?
He's retired now. He has a kid. And a lot of the stuff that he posts now is quite reflective and kind of hits the point for me. And something that he wrote in one of his recent posts was, his caption was, "Lately, I've stopped trying to add more to life and started adding more love and presence to what's already here." And I think that touches on a conversation that we had, that we mentioned earlier, about like it's not always about what's next. It's not always about like what can I do more or what can I add, what can I like do to keep adding to my life, but just being present and enjoying what you have now and actually focusing on building what you have now rather than like adding something else to it.
It is very easy. No, I won't say very easy, but it's easy to say when you're. Huh? I'm trying to reword it. I can't reword it. I feel like it's easy to go, what's next? What's the next big thing to, for example, you know, in our conversation of like, what's the next big thing to generate more money or make this thing bigger?
I think that quote that he mentioned, it's to reword what you said to me the other day. It's easy to say when
that was a month ago.
It's easy to say when you've already made it, or it's easy to say when you're already like kind of successful, right? So like you don't need to add more to life. You just like be present with what you have.
No, I think it's just hindsight.
Yeah, okay.
Whether you're successful or not, I think it's just hindsight.
Okay.
Because it's easy. Everything's easier in hindsight.
True.
But quite often, by doing bigger, more ambitious things, it's either potentially more risk. The saying goes, you know, the bigger the project, the bigger the problems. Like more money, more problems. And it's actually true because the impacts of what you do have a greater effect.
Yeah.
Right. Both ways on the outcome, both positively and negatively. And quite often, doing what you're doing now and it's already successful, you just need to run its course. And you know, obviously you tweak and improve. I'm not saying you stay stagnant and just keep doing the same thing over and over again. But you don't necessarily need the next big project, the next big shiny thing to progress in life. Yeah. You might do that later down the track, but like I said to you, you know, there's value in just sitting in here and go, yeah, this is pretty good. Let's enjoy the ride. And if there's one thing that I learned over my time in the bakery, for example, was instead of like trying to just push the next new big product or the next new wholesale contract or whatever. Me. No, we did not do by me.
Oh.
So I was like, I'm not doing that that kind of bakery. There was value in just going, hey, you know, doing what we're doing and reflect on the fact that, yeah, we've tripled the amount of business. Like a lot of people know who we are. We've won multiple awards. Like this is working. I don't need to take another risk to do the next big thing because that involves new machinery, more storage space. And, sometimes now is enough.
And I think from a training perspective, because ultimately this is a powerlifting podcast. From a training,
not talking about bread.
From a training perspective, something that I like to say to my clients is, you know, quite often the grass isn't greener on the other side. The grass is greener when you water it, right? Because
so zen.
So zen. And this is quite common when my clients are like, oh, I can't wait to like hit 200. I can't wait to hit like 210, 220, 230. Then like the next thing, right? What about like Alex said the other day, what about like right now? Just being proud of
his lollipop yet.
Yeah, you gotta give him his lollipop. Get the man a lollipop. Being present and just enjoying your training as it is right now. Instead of thinking like, oh, I wish I could be like repping 200 kilos or I wish I could be repping like 100 kilos. And I think for me, for my prep, because I'm competing in 2 weeks, I used to bench, my best is 175 for bench. In my prep, both last block and this block, my best has been 167.5. And in the back of my mind, I've gone like, fuck, I wish I was like benching 175.
Back to peak.
Yeah, I wish I was like back to where I was before. I wish I was at like 180. I wish I was there. But the fact is, during this prep, I've just enjoyed myself. I've had a lot of fun training. I've been able to push myself and just be present and just enjoy it for what it is.
Also, from like the outside looking in, like your training is a lot more, like the loads and everything else looks like it's a lot more consistent.
It is.
So like if we zoom out, like the bulk of your training is improved significantly, even though that top bench hasn't materialized yet. But that's just a matter of time.
Yeah, right? It is just a matter of time. And I could go to Alex and go like, let's try this. Let's try something new. I want to like do this. I want to change this, which does have some value. Obviously, like it's worthwhile trialing something new if there's substance to it. But at the same time, like end of the day, what's going to get you stronger is just training. Yeah. Just doing what you're doing now. maybe adding a bit of volume, adding a bit of load, adding a bit more stimulus. But you don't need to like revamp your program. You don't need to figure out the next big thing to figure out the perfect microcycle or macro cycle. What you're doing right now is probably working for a lot of people.
Yeah, proof's in the pudding. Like in like you're training more consistently, your loads are more consistent, and when you go to this comp up, no doubt, like you're gonna do well.
Yeah, I think so. And I don't feel mentally fatigued. I don't feel like I'm killing myself with this prep. I'm actually enjoying it a lot. And I think a big part of it is just like taking each session as it comes instead of putting so much pressure to like have to perform or have to do a certain thing.
Yep.
Just like, look, if it feels good,
That's literally how I prepped for my qualifier comp.
Yeah.
Because I knew of time constraints. I knew that potentially I had pre-planned 12 or 16 training sessions. I can't remember. I pre-planned all my training sessions. But I also approach it with a mindset of like, this is not going to eventuate. I'm just going to do what I can.
Yep.
Given that those time constraints. And in the end, like I had a great time.
Yeah, and ultimately, like right now, with my best bench for prep being 167.5, I'm not going to be like, all right, I can do 175. Like, I'm not going to be delusional. And
you also have the benefit of Alex as your coach. And if you're out there and you have your coach, if there was a way to get you stronger faster, you bet your bottom dollar your coaches would have advocated
yeah, of course,
for that
your coaches
already.
are definitely thinking about what they can do. And I think that, as we mentioned before, if something actually isn't working, like you're not actually seeing significant progress, or it's going slower as expected, then yeah, there is value in trying to think about, okay, what could we add? What could we do? But at the same time, it doesn't have to be a completely new fucking program. It could just be like adding an extra set here. It could just be like adding a variation or changing something on a particular day or adding a certain accessory.
Taking a pre-workout.
Yeah, get a bit more hyped up for your training session. Asking for help.
Greta will know this one on me.
Now, the reason why I've brought this up is because I think we, as coaches, talk about like being autonomous, being an autonomous athlete, being able to think for yourself and think critically, which is fine. It's great to be able to like be aware of your own body, make decisions for yourself, and understand what you need. But at the same time, like obviously, because you have a coach, they're there to help you out. They're there to want the best for you. So I think there needs to be a balance between being an autonomous athlete, but also knowing when to reach out, when to communicate. Because I feel like some clients might hold back from like asking questions, might hold back from communicating to the coach, because they might feel like they're being a burden, or they're they're not being like an autonomous athlete.
Yeah.
So I think it's part of the coach's responsibility and a coach's role to be able to open up that, create a culture, create an environment where their clients are able to approach them for help when they need it, but also help and educate them so that they can make decisions on their own if they need to. It's kind of finding that balance, I think.
Yeah, I think it really comes down to the relationship that's established. As a coach, ultimately it's relationship management.
Yep.
You're managing relationships, and how you interact with one client will be different to another.
Yeah.
But the most important thing is if their communication is hampered or difficult, it's not going to work out. Ultimately, I feel like the responsibility lies on both.
Yep.
Quite often in this day and age, training and coaching is done online, not in person. So that adds another layer of difficulty, right? You're getting, as a coach, you're getting data or information usually after the fact. And as an athlete, you also have to convey how you're feeling or whatever happened during that training session into words. And some people are just better at it than others. So I think it's a case of both parties having to learn and actually appreciate the importance of being able to communicate effectively.
Yeah, and help each other out.
Out, right?
I think as a coach, it's important to, if you're not getting what you want from your client, then it's important to help your client put into words what you want from them. And I think a part of it for me, that what I tend to do is I ask them questions. I ask them like, so how did this feel? Or what did you feel when you did this? Or what were you thinking about when you were approaching this set? So that they can start to think and start to have those questions in their pocket, so they can start thinking about it when they do the next check-in. But at the same time, from the client's end, it's important for them to help the coach out by actually like putting some thought into their training instead of just going, felt good, felt all right. You know, like how did it actually feel? Tell me, so I can actually help you. So it has to go. It's a two-way street.
It's part of the reason why I mostly do face to face.
Yeah. Now, when it comes to asking for help, I mean, you had a pretty interesting reaction to it.
Yes.
Do you ask for help? Are you good at asking for help?
I am terrible at asking for help.
Okay.
I'm better than I have before. And Greta, we testament to that because for those who don't know, my wife, Greta, we both work in the business.
My wife.
We co-own, if you didn't know that either. But also, when we get busy, I tend to, and I credit to myself, I feel like I've improved, but still need work.
Give John Trent a lollipop.
I tend to like try to go, okay, I need to knuckle down and do it.
Do you feel like you think that because it's just easier for you to do it rather than ask for someone for help? Or you'll get it right?
Actually, no.
Okay.
No. I just find it like for whatever reason, I need to see my psychologist for this, but I tend to go, oh, this needs doing, so I'll just go do it. It doesn't even come into my brain to go, it might just be easier to do it myself than to explain it to somebody else. Because I actually have faith in everyone else around me doing the right job.
Yep.
And I know for a fact, at least to me, if they didn't do it correctly, 9 times out of 10, it's because I didn't articulate what I wanted correctly. At least that's the approach I take it.
I see.
These days. Whereas back then, like years ago, I would just try and do it. And then next thing you know, I'm slammed with 50 things and I'm stressed and running around like a headless chicken.
Yep.
I'm spinning like 10 plates at the same time and it's all trying to basically keep it going.
Yeah.
Asking for help, I can totally relate. It can be a very, very difficult thing for many reasons, right? Quite often it's like I have that thought in my head ready to go, so it's just easy for me to execute. Like asking for help just doesn't even come into my brain.
Yeah.
So that can be one thing. And like when I was working at the bakery, I was the master multitasker. 100%. I'd be mixing dough and dividing this up, molding this, and then taking stuff out of here. Yeah, I do shifts by myself.
Yeah,
I kick my dad out and I go, "You're going home. I'm doing this myself."
Okay.
And I'd do the whole day run. There was one time when my dad had knee surgery to get a knee replacement, and he was out for, I'd like to say 5 or 6 weeks. So there's 3 main productions at the bakery at the time. There was the bread production, which was the longest. There was pastry production and cake production. I did all 3. That's usually a 4-person job.
So the foot was baking the cake.
Well, no, it wasn't all simultaneously. Like the baking, usually like the bread baking and the pastry would overlap. There is a overlap time. And then in the afternoons or evenings, there'll be cake production. Because usually that stuff has to cool down before you like decorate it or whatever. So yeah, I just did it. I didn't ask for help.
Yeah.
Because I did it successfully, which reinforced it.
I can do this.
So that I did that for like multiple times over many years. And when we're running City Strength, I think that behavior or that mindset just crept in. So classic case in point, when we're setting up for comps or setting up for comps is probably the most obvious one because it's physical. I have to stop myself and go, hey, I need to ask people to do stuff for me. Because here we have people who are willing to help.
Yep.
Quite often people go, hi, John, what do you want me to do? I'm like, oh, shit, I actually need to allocate. So I actually have to go through a mental checklist and go, this is what I was going to do. I'm going to give this person this, this, and this. But you'll see, like, setting up for post-comp, I'll just run off in the corner and start doing stuff.
Yep.
And I actually have to make myself alert to the fact that, hey, we have helpers. We have people willing to do it. I need to delegate some stuff and get help to do it.
Yeah.
So yeah, it's I totally empathize with everyone who finds it hard.
I think another part of asking for help is people are afraid to seem like they're weak or they're vulnerable. Like they're scared to be vulnerable. They're scared to admit that they don't know everything.
But acknowledging the fact that you need help And that humility is a strength.
That's why it's an
'Cause
underrated strength.
You get more stuff done.
Yeah. I think that something that I can relate to is when I was first starting off as a coach, I knew that I had a lot of gaps in my knowledge. But there was a part of me that felt sort of scared to ask other people for help because I was scared to be like caught out or scared to be like, oh, you don't know that, you shouldn't be a coach, or like you don't like why, if you're going to ask me that question, if I'm going to ask another coach that question, should like my client may as well just go to them, right? But that's not true. I don't think that's true at all. I think that being able to ask for help is a strength in itself because you're able to be, you have the humility to admit that there are gaps in your knowledge. And
100%. No one knows everything.
No. And as a coach, and especially as a new coach, I think the number one thing you should be doing is asking for help, whether that be like just reaching out to someone that you look up to or someone that you really respect, or signing up for courses, signing up for mentorships and stuff like that to get help from people who are willing to do that. And I think that the mindset that I have is if I'm going to ask someone for help and they judge me for it, then that person isn't worth asking.
They're never going to help you anyway.
Exactly.
Right.
But the people who you want to be around, the people who are actually going to help you are the ones who, when you do reach out, more than willing to help.
100%.
Someone that I learned a lot from was Beth Parker. So Beth and I were both working at Breakthrough Fitness back in the days. She was the powerlifting coach there and I was the strength coach running classes there. And she took the initiative to actually sit down with me once a week to go through like concepts of powerlifting and things like that. And yeah, I really, really appreciated it. And I think that, that was quite pivotal and fundamental in like my learning during that time because she had she was willing to teach someone. She was willing to teach me and not judge me for the questions that I was asking. But she knew that I was a bit of a new coach. So I think as a new coach, if you're someone who's looking to get started or looking to develop and progress, don't hesitate to ask. There are going to be people around that are more than willing to teach, more than willing to help. And
100%.
the best investment that you can make is investment in yourself.
It also helps build relationships.
Yeah.
Right?
Yes.
Especially if you establish the fact that, hey, can I pick your brain about this, this, and this? And that person's willing to help you. You're establishing a relationship with another person in the same field.
Yep.
And that can only lead to bigger and better things. Like the more we network off each other, the more we can learn from each other.
Yeah.
I've been in this for over 10 years and I still learn new things. People still reach out to me and, if it's appropriate, I feel like that's something I can help them with. I definitely would. Yeah.
And the industry is always developing and there's always new knowledge and new principles that are being developed. And you're not going to know everything. And you're not going to be up to date with everything on your own.
Yeah, even if I think there's value in, even if you think that coach has an approach or methodology that you don't necessarily have buy-in to, like, or agree with, it'd be worth to see their perspective because it'll broaden your horizons as to whether or not, I didn't think of it that way, like it may work. Or just reinforce the fact that
or just tells you like, actually, no, I don't agree with that.
I mean, we can all respectfully disagree on methodologies because, training is one of those things where there's many different ways to go about it.
Yeah. When it comes to asking for help as well, something that comes to mind for me is something that I've heard from someone is like you move fast by yourself, but you move far with a team. Is that true?
Yeah, 100%. 100%.
Yeah. The reason why I think about this is I run a Dragon and Line Dance team, for those who don't know. And we have about 50 odd members or so. And we perform basically every week. And I've got a team of like a management kind of like team and instructors of about like 10 to 15.
What?
Yeah. So I have quite a few people helping me out. But I still struggle with like delegating and struggle with asking for help. Because sometimes I'm like, man, it's just faster, it's just easier if I do it myself. But what I've started to realize is if I do set up the systems and I do sort of mentor and coach these people to help me, it takes the pressure off me and gives me my time back. but also sets up a system for more long-term success.
100%.
Because if I'm the only person who knows how to do this, if I'm the only person who knows how to like run things or teach things, then what happens when I'm gone? You know, I can't actually leave. I can't actually like do my own thing. So I think it's important when you do have a team. It's important to have a team, full stop.
Yeah.
It's important to have a team if
100%.
you want to like do something that's significant, and then be able to delegate and coach and teach that team to.
It also just gives you more capacity to do different things or do more things to help improve or enhance that organization.
Yeah.
And you see this quite often in like corporate entities. I wouldn't necessarily say large corporations are like the key to how we should structure organizations such as yourselves or even ours, because there's beyond a certain size that doesn't work anymore, and it's a different goal. But certain organizations, like I actually use like motorsport because I follow motorsport, or like Formula One teams. They're actually pretty big, but they operate very in a very agile way because of the way they're structured.
Yep.
And every team member is a specialist.
Yep.
And they have, more often than not, they have autonomy because they know what the job is, and they're there to further the cause of that organization.
Yep.
And I feel like if you structure it that way, then as a business owner or as someone in management or whatever, you're given that you're not burdened down by like the day-to-day things. You don't have to tick every single box.
Yeah.
They don't have to come for you for every single authorization to, you're not micromanaging people.
You don't want that.
You don't want that. And that gives you the mental capacity to go, okay, actually steer the business and work on the business and give it some clear direction, as opposed to just being burdened down on working in it.
What is something that we've let go, which was a really difficult decision at the time, but made way for something better?
Ooh.
Something that you've let go.
Something I've let go. Well, from a training aspect, training powerlifting. I'll give 2 examples.
Yeah, go.
So from training, coaching, powerlifting, me dedicating, and the better explanation is I've taken the focus off coaching.
Like trying to build your coaching business.
I coach 2 people at the moment, right? Do I have visions of, could I coach more people? I probably could like coach 1 or 2 more, but I've also set myself like really tight parameters. If these people can't come to the gym and train, at least during the times when I'm physically here, then I'm not going to coach them. So let go of the fact that and there's a bit of an identity crisis a little bit at the point. Like I'm no longer perceived as a powerlifting coach because I just coach 2 people, whereas I used to coach much larger roster. What made way for me to have more capacity on building City Strength, the online store, and all its other activities. Partly because it was also caused by demand as well. So I made that choice. I made that gradual choice, probably timed with the fact that we moved premises to here as well. So yeah, better outcomes in that way.
What was the second example?
Second example would be more online store, business related. Actually, no. Yeah, it was more the fact that running comps was a me thing.
Okay.
And delegating it out to other people to do different stuff, different aspects of the comp, made it much less stressful, and I enjoyed comp days when it happened a lot more. And it feels easier because everyone's got their task, and it's worked out well. That's probably the most obvious one.
I think for me, something that I've let go, which was a difficult decision, was probably from a coaching perspective, doing face-to-face at a commercial gym. It was a difficult decision because at that time...
To let go of that?
Yeah. I had quite a healthy roster and I was making quite decent money. But I think at that time I started to understand that the life that I was living as a PT was just not worth the amount of money that I was making. So So I wouldn't say it was a difficult decision, but
because it was shit.
it was still a significant decision, because I was definitely tossing up like, oh, should I keep going? Should I keep pursuing face to face? Like I can keep building my roster here, or sort of take a pay cut and go online and step away from doing face to face at the commercial gym. And obviously, by stepping away from doing face to face, majority of my time face to face at the gym, it gave me a lot more time, a lot more capacity to actually build an online roster, online coaching business, which paved the way for a much more healthy lifestyle, a lifestyle that I actually had time for myself to do things.
More time to play games.
More time to play games. No, play games. And I think that what I'm doing now, which is a combination of online and face-to-face, works really, really well. Where I'm not killing myself with face-to-face like I was before. Like I was doing like 8 back-to-back sessions a day back then. So having like 2-3 sessions a day mixed in with my online is definitely like a much more healthier.
Nice balance.
Very nice balance, I think. It's nice. But if I had not sort of given up the idea of pushing face-to-face and still like making bank from a lot of face-to-face clients and not living a life, I wouldn't be here.
Do not miss those days at all. The only upside of like personal training was back in the day, people would pay for like 10 sessions up front.
Yeah.
Cash.
Cash.
All of a sudden you're like, whoa, look at this wad of cash. And then you go to the supplement store and you go try the pre-workout, the post-training protein, the night protein, and dump $400 on subs.
Yeah, I think
stop by a Porto's on the way home.
During that time as well was when I was very much invested in the whole, or very bought into the whole like hustle culture, the whole grind mindset, which is why at that time making that decision was quite a bit of like an identity crisis almost, where I was like, oh shit.
No longer hustling.
Yeah, if I stop doing all these back-to-back sessions, does that mean I'm no longer doing well? Am I no longer successful?
Yep.
Because all I was seeing it in terms of was in a monetary perspective.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. Well, closing thoughts.
Kelvin should change his email domain
To?
Kelvin,
oh, yes.
Kelvin Chill.
Kelvin Chill Performance.
Kelvin Chill Performance.
Yes.
And your Instagram handle has to go.
Yeah, it should just be Kelvin Chillin'.
Huh?
Kelvin Chillin'.
Look, if there's no video of you waking up at 4 a.m. journaling and then cooking breakfast at 5:30 and then doing your training done by 7:30 a.m.
Yeah.
And then watching the sunrise and then
on the beach,
walk around, you can't wear that
I can't
title.
do it. I can't live up to the name anymore.
No more Kelvin Hustle.
No more. What I've written here is strength isn't how much you carry, but how light and far you can travel.
Whoa.
Yeah. You like that one?
Yeah, we need a sand pit and a rake and some bonsais and
right in the sand.
Yeah.
And let the waves wash it away.
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, you need to take a step back so you can do more sometimes.
You need to take a step back so you can actually give yourself some space for assessment / reflection / just some capacity to go, hey, is what I'm doing actually satisfying, fulfilling? And if it is, then it's okay for you just to go on cruise control and keep doing what you're doing.
Yep.
Because more all the time is not necessarily better.
Yes.
More sometimes is better. But
Yep. Yeah, you need to find that balance. And I think that when it comes to training, obviously pushing in your training, hitting that intensity that's prescribed is going to help you get stronger.
Yeah.
But it's not always about the next big thing, or like, it's not about changing something in your programming or trying to figure something out or trying to like try something new because it might be better.
No, more is
because
always better.
because it might not be better. Usually it's actually not better. More is not always better.
Time will tell.
Yeah. So be present. Give yourself time to breathe and give yourself time to actually think. And I think that might actually make things more clear.
Yes.
Yeah.
Side note, that Porsche GT3 will come. If you just
Don't worry. The Porsche GT3, it'll be there in a few years.
They're still around. Yeah, sure.
Thanks for tuning in, guys. If you like this episode, please like, comment, subscribe. I know that it was a bit different, less powerlifting focused. So if you do like things like that,
Let us know.
I enjoyed it a lot.
I'll do it going deep.
Yeah.
I'll bring tissues next time.
Yeah, bring tissues next time. But yes, share it, if you found any value, and we'll see you in the next one.